Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ditlev Blicher, and I'm the Asia Pacific Regional Managing Director of Maersk. AP Moller Maersk is an integrated container logistics company working to connect and simplify customer supply chains. A global leader in shipping services, our company operates in 130 countries and employs roughly 76,000 people. Today, I'm pleased to have the opportunity to address the distinguished audience at the Incheon International Ocean Forum. But perhaps just a few words before we start about our engagement and presence in this critical and dynamic part of the world. Maersk has served Korea's foreign trade for almost 90 years, with our first vessel calling the Korean Peninsula in May 1930. Since then, we have expanded our business from liner shipping to logistics and other activities to serve Korean shippers and to connect them with the rest of the world. Today, we serve Korea with 40 sailings per week at Incheon, Gwangyang, Pohang, Pyeongtaek, and Busan. Furthermore, Maersk has had close cooperation with South Korean shipbuilding industry for almost 4 decades. Over the years, Maersk has sourced a variety of vessels, including container vessels, tankers, supply vessels, as well as specialized offshore drill ships and jackup rigs at Korean yards. Since 2000, Maersk has ordered more than 200 Korean-built ships and drilling rigs valued at approximately $23 billion. We expect there will be new opportunities to cooperate on the development of innovative, advanced, and environmentally friendly vessels in the future. Incheon, bordering the capital of Seoul, has long been a transportation hub, and I have been here for about 20 years, traveling in and out of South Korea, and I feel amazed by the city's growth. With the Incheon Bridge connecting Songdo International Business District and the Incheon International Airport, the city becomes a gateway for connecting Korea with the world. Maersk regards Incheon ports as a key strategic port. We handled approximately 70,000 TEUs of export and imports in Incheon this year to date, September. This is a 23% increase over the same period last year, in spite of the negative impact of COVID-19. The market potential to and from Incheon Port grows each year, and our aim is to grow with it. Maersk plans to participate in the Incheon Port Authority's planned bid for the container yard, which will provide consolidation services and a used car yard for exports. We moreover proudly count amongst our key clients venerable Korean companies such as Samsung Electronics, LG Electronics, and Hyundai Motors, and many, many others. We are proud to be connecting those to global markets. My background is from 3PL, and thus not that of a ship owner or a port operator. I'm 2 months into my role here at Maersk, so I apologize in advance if my views come across as a bit direct. I am of the conviction, however, that our industry is in need of a healthy dose of straight talk. In what follows, I intend to brief you on fundamental issues in the shipping and logistics industry, to elaborate on the impact of COVID-19 on supply chains, and how Maersk is helping our customers to build resilient supply chains through digital transformation. We need to be fully aware that compared to newer industries such as e-commerce, the shipping and logistics industry can come across as very traditional, slow, and a conservative industry. We have inherent issues that were not being addressed with much urgency. Trade tensions, COVID-19 pandemic, and other black swan events have, however, forced the hand of change. While digital developments have taken other industries by storm years ago, they're now ripe in our industry, and technology is a key to transformation. For the past number of decades, the shipping industry has been beset by a number of fundamental issues. First, fundamentally, we have to balance fixed and expensive assets in the shipping industry against fluctuating and often unpredictable demand. The complexity of network design has long relied on annual design cycles with only few short-term adjustments possible. As demand patterns have become increasingly hard to predict, this inherent rigidity has led to falling profitability and reliability. In terms of reliability, in order to manage profitability, asset owners try to optimize their assets by planning to run them as close to 100% full as possible. Client bookings have typically more than 20% no-shows. So in order not to overrun empty capacity, carriers overbook, oftentimes leading to missed service. Global industry-wide schedule reliability of container shipping fell to just 56% this September. The export trades from Asia to the US have slipped even further to below 50%. And this is on vessel reliability. At container level, reliability thus has the potential to be even worse. Not many industries would survive with a quality rating of 56% only. If we compare this to the automotive industry, the average vehicle has about 30,000 components, which all are synchronized at the assembly plant at the right time, at the right place. Any shortage of parts has the potential of causing a ruinous plant shutdown. Many automotive companies thus deploy just-in-time principles. Imagine now planning for a just-in-time supply chain with a component of shipping of only 56% reliability. Automotive companies accomplish this by investing in expensive buffer stock and inventory. From an innovation perspective, the last real innovations that propelled the industry forwards include containerization, the supersizing of vessels, and to a certain degree the invention of slow steaming. The largest container ship thus has evolved from about 5,500 TEUs in 1995 to more than 23,000 TEUs in 2020. However, the application of tech within our industry is within its infancy and with very few agreed upon industry standards established. Most processes in our industry remain manual and paper-based. Whereas one can make an argument that shipping remains the world's most carbon-efficient means of global transportation, the fact is that only recently, with IMO 2020, did the industry as a whole agree on minimum standards to curtail the worst pollutants. Shipping industry today accounts for roughly 2 to 3% of global CO2 emissions. Up until 2008, these underlying issues were carried by a boom in global trade. Global trade was growing at roughly 3 times that of GDP. The fact that the industry had become weak-linked in many global supply chains with poor service levels, low visibility, and little flexibility became an accepted reality, and supply chains across industries built inventory buffers to ensure continuity of supply. There was no real impetus for radical change. A rising tide lifts all boats, so to speak. Most remaining players have long foreseen the need for industry change, but only a few had made real impact to addressing these fundamental issues. But time was right for change. September 15, 2008 brought the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers and consequently the financial crisis. The tide pulled out, so to speak, and global trade fell out of vogue. The industry added another underlying issue, that of falling profitability, culminating in forced consolidation in our industry. It was against this backdrop that COVID-19, the mother of all black swan events, appeared. Starting in China, the effect was first not as pronounced as it coincided with the annual shutdown of production due to Chinese New Year. However, Chinese factories remained shut, and as the virus spread overseas, market after market went into complete lockdown. Multiple demand and supply chain shocks would rattle the global economy. Inventories became stretched, raw materials ran in short supply, and global supply chains were faced with multiple simultaneous supply and demand shocks rippling through global and local supply chains, reinforcing and amplifying impact in highly unpredictable ways. Who would ever have predicted that toilet paper would become the first product in short supply across industrialized nations? So, How did the industry face in the face of this pandemic? Not too bad, in fact. In spite of serious disruptions, including raw material shortages, labor shortages, landside constraints, quarantine of vessels, infrastructure closures, etc., vessels continued to operate. Ports remained in service. Networks were redesigned at a speed rarely seen before. Adjustment to cleaner operations in alignment with IMO 2020 continued unabated. Furthermore, profitability of our industry has improved. Could it be that our industry, faced with the right motivation and circumstance, is capable of decisive and rapid change after all? I'm personally encouraged by how rapidly the industry has been able to adapt in the face of this pandemic. Now, we're still in the midst of this pandemic, so I can't really speak on behalf of the industry, but I can share how it's manifested itself at Maersk. In our organization, we've already set out to completely reinvent shipping and container logistics prior to the pandemic. We had recognized the inherent weaknesses of our industry and recognized that as a market leader, we would need to be at the forefront of driving change. So rather than derail such effort, the pandemic only accelerated the need for change from our customers and proved that the industry change Maersk is driving is on the right track. As demand and supply became erratic, the need for agility became pronounced. The ability to slow down or speed up supply chains became important, and we created products such as FlexHub, which provides customers with storage solutions in our large shipping hubs, or Maersk Accelerate, which provide customers with the opportunity to speed up containers, reducing lead times by up to 3 days. We also expanded our end-to-end solutions to include air freight, customs house brokerage, landside transportation, cargo deconsolidation and delivery to store to complement the strong ocean product and to create simplicity across our client supply chains. But perhaps the most exciting thing has been the quantum leap in the adoption and openness to technology and innovation. Something I think that any large organization can relate to has been the drastic change to the way of working. Faced with country lockdowns, companies had to quickly adapt to operate in a decentralized manner outside the office. Working from home so suddenly became a tool for survival for companies as opposed to an added employee benefit. Had we been faced with the prospect of having to move more than 50% of our workforce to working from home in weeks prior to the pandemic, we probably would have said that this would have been an impossibility. However, fact remains that even today, large proportions of Maersk employees, as well as those of many other companies, continue to work from home. This might indeed become the new normal. And it has been a tectonic shift nonetheless, and a shift in ways of working that might be the new norm long after the pandemic has subsided. More specifically, to our service offering, the adaptation to digital solution between us and our clients have also quickly gained pace during the pandemic. Throughout 2019, for example, the Maersk Shipment app, which is a cargo tracking platform that allows customers to follow the progress of their shipments in real time, saw a steady increase of usage. In 2020, with the onset of the pandemic, however, the app saw an astounding 460% increase in uptake and activity between January to June. Similarly, Maersk Spot, one of our online products which makes the container booking process simpler and more efficient, with Maersk Spot, a shipper can simply click and book online or from a mobile device, as simply as they would when they order airline tickets. Rate calculations are fixed at the time of booking, and cargo loading guarantee avoids the unpredictability of being rolled. This platform launched in 2019 with a significant increase in 3 months between March and June 2020, when you compare it to the previous 3 months. Bookings were up 41% across the entire platform, indicating both a need and a new willingness to use these online tools. Today, a significant proportion of all Maersk short-term bookings are made via this digital portal, and we believe this trend is going to continue. For us, as well as for the entire industry. As a third product, aimed at reducing the need for physical handling of documents and the simplification of data and document transfer across the many players in the supply chain, is TradeLens. TradeLens is a collaborative project between Maersk and IBM available to all parties in the supply chain. Using blockchain technology, it allows data to be securely shared amongst multiple parties through a decentralized and distributed system. We believe in the potential of this technology. Blockchain will have an enormous ramifications for an industry that is notorious for having an unwieldy number of different entities and documentation requirements involved. Today, TradeLens is thus an interconnected ecosystem of supply chain partners, allowing real-time access to shipping and logistics data and documents, removing the need for physical documentation, and vastly improving the speed and efficiency as cargo moves through the supply chain. Similarly to previous examples, the TradeLens platform continues to gain ground across the industry, with MSC and CMA completing data integration and joining the platforms to enable improved information sharing across the industry. But these are merely a few examples of how we see the paradigm shift towards digital solutions. As supply chains grow ever more complex and fragmented, technology will take an increasingly central role in how the industry develops and overcomes these challenges. Access to ever cheaper processing power, innovations such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, and data-driven logistics will continue to revolutionize how logistics operates. This means disruptions, but certainly also opportunity. Since visibility and predictability remains the two cornerstones in a well-working supply chain, new solutions are constantly finding their way into this space, not least through the logistics plum solutions that Maersk is working on, but through our investments in blockchain, AI, and IoT that will enable those near real-time visibility about cargo whereabouts. As earlier addressed, the industry has continued to adjust to the requirements of IMO 2020 in the face of the pandemic. However, we should continue this momentum of change and reduce the impact on the environment, contribute to the fight of global climate change. At Maersk, we have committed to carbon neutrality by 2050. We are right now developing technology to enable this. Fuel savings initiatives, innovative technologies, and groundbreaking designs has made Maersk a front runner in energy efficiency. But the challenge we face today on key issues such as climate change are global in nature and cannot be solved by one country or company alone. Decarbonizing shipping and its energy value chains demands for close collaboration and deliberate collective action from shipping companies, logistics providers, researchers, technology developers, customers, and legislators in order for us to transform an industry and move away from a fossil-based technology. In conclusion, I believe that changing global supply chains are long overdue. The pandemic has proven that faced with the right circumstance, our industry is indeed capable of step change in the right direction. With the recent developments in COVID vaccines, there might even be light at the end of the tunnel and a path back to normality. We have an obligation to seize this moment, to capture momentum, and ensure it's not a path back to the old days of working, but a path forward to a new and better normality where we put past fundamental issues of complexity in supply chains behind us. We should continue to challenge inherent weaknesses, reinvent ourselves, and make quantum leaps in the deployment of technology. As one of the industry leaders, Maersk is committed to this journey. I invite you all to go all the way. Thank you very much.